She told herself it was just a glance. Just a meaningless look exchanged across the hallway, something fleeting and accidental. But when she walked past him in her robe, barely tied, her scent trailing like a forbidden invitation, and his eyes lingered just a second too long, she knew something had changed. Something she could never undo. He was her late husband's son. And yet, when she whispered, "Do it," he didn't blink. He didn't hesitate. He simply obeyed. Like he'd been waiting for her to break first. The house had never felt more alive. Ever since Liam moved back in, Ariana Voss could feel something thrumming in the walls. Not noise, not movement, something deeper. Tension. Desire. A presence that unsettled her. Liam, now 23, was no longer the boy she once helped raise. Gone were the shy smiles and quiet dinners. In his place stood a man with broad shoulders, intense blue eyes, and a confidence that settled into every room before he did. He didn't walk, he prowled. And worst of all? He never called her Mom. Ariana found herself watching him. Too often. Too long. The way his muscles flexed under the weight bench he set up in the living room. The glisten of sweat that rolled down his abs. The subtle way he looked at her, never lewd, never overt, but entirely, sinfully aware. She hated how much she noticed. Hated how her breath hitched every time he came too close. How she adjusted her robe just a little lower before stepping into the kitchen. It was one of those nights. Rain tapping against the windows, the scent of something forbidden in the air. Ariana walked into the dim-lit kitchen in her favorite robe, black silk, dangerously short. She told herself it was habit. Comfort. Nothing to do with the fact that Liam was still awake. He stood by the fridge in nothing but sweats, shirtless, hair damp from a shower. When he turned, his eyes landed on her, and didn't move. "Can't sleep?" she asked, her voice casual but quiet. "Didn't want to," he said, gaze sweeping her figure. She swallowed. Hard. "You always stare like that?" He smirked. "Only when I know I shouldn't." There. The spark. That single moment that tilted the world. That lit something raw between them. Ariana turned away, pretending to grab a glass of water. But Liam stepped closer. Not touching, just invading her space with the weight of something unspeakable. "Tell me to stop," he said softly, breath on her neck. She didn't. Because deep down, she didn't want him to. Lightning cracked outside the windows, sending streaks of white across the kitchen floor. The air was heavy, as if the storm outside had settled inside her chest. Ariana sat on the marble island, sipping red wine, legs crossed, robe barely hanging on her shoulders. She heard him before she saw him. Bare feet on tile. The fridge door opening. Then closing. Liam leaned against the counter, sipping from a whiskey tumbler, shirtless as always. Their eyes locked. A silent challenge passed between them. "You're not cold?" she asked. "You're one to talk," he said, eyes trailing her bare legs. Her heart pounded. Her mouth opened before she thought, "Maybe I'm waiting to be warmed up." He didn't smile. Didn't blink. Just set the glass down and walked toward her. She didn't move. "Say it," he said, standing between her parted knees now. "Say what you want." Ariana's throat tightened. Her fingers trembled slightly on the wine glass. She felt the robe sliding off her shoulder, revealing one strapless curve. Her voice came in a whisper. "Do it." Liam's reaction was primal. He grabbed her hips and pulled her forward, mouth crashing into hers with unspoken need. She gasped, arms wrapping around his neck, legs tightening around his waist. His hands roamed under the robe, finding skin, gripping, claiming. She moaned into him, heat pooling inside her like wildfire. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't soft. It was hunger finally let loose. They didn't make it to the bedroom. The kitchen floor became their altar. The storm outside raged, but it was nothing compared to what they unleashed inside. When it was over, she lay there, robe open, hair splayed, chest rising and falling rapidly. Liam leaned down, brushing her lips with his. "You told me to do it," he whispered. And she didn't stop him. The first time was supposed to be the last. But lust doesn't work that way. The very next morning, Liam walked into her room. No words. Just eyes. And she opened the robe before he even reached her. They began to crave it. Not the act itself, but each other. The smell, the taste, the moans, the scratches. The thrill. He'd grab her by the waist in the hallway. Pin her to the wall in the laundry room. Push her against the glass shower, steam hiding their sins. One night, she tried to stop. Told him, this is wrong. He pinned her wrists above her head, lips brushing her collarbone. Say it again when I'm inside you. She couldn't. She didn't. They became addicts. Feeding off each other. He'd whisper filth in her ear when guests visited. Slide his hand under her skirt at dinners. Leave bruises only she could see. She would beg him. Loudly. Quietly. Shamelessly. And every time, he gave her more. More pleasure. More pain. More power. Until she didn't remember what life was like before him. Only that it was dull. Colorless. Now? It was vivid. Wicked. Alive. Ariana should have known it couldn't last. Lust that intense never hides forever. One rainy afternoon, she entered his room while he was out. Searching for a shirt. An excuse. What she found instead broke her breath. A folder. Inside it? Newspaper clippings. Photos. Her husband's car crash. Charred metal. Blood. And on the back of one picture. He never deserved her. But I will. Her knees buckled. Liam had been obsessed. Long before the kiss. Before the night. Before the robe. He didn't just fall into her. He hunted her. That night, she confronted him. You planned this. Liam looked at her calmly. I waited for it. There's a difference. You wanted him dead. He stepped forward. I wanted you. And you wanted someone who wouldn't walk away. Tears welled in her eyes. You used me. I worshipped you. Still do. And then, despite everything, despite her mind screaming run, she let him touch her again. Because love isn't always soft. Sometimes it's the sharp edge of a blade you press deeper, just to feel alive. She crossed every line. And even when she knew the truth, she still told him to do it. And he still never hesitated.